Here it is! Yeah! Howdy folks, my name is Val Mihailovich, and today I would like to show you my homemade landing gear for the Kayak Old Town 106 PDL. And the reason why I decided to do this is I wanted a little bit more of versatility, just to do more things than just the standard pop in, pop out, and two types of mounting. Now these, you can have the wheels on the outside or underneath the kayak. So these will rotate in, they will also rotate up, and the wheels can be up on top for when you're in the water or when you're towing. So I'm going to demonstrate all this for you, how I did it, very simple. All of the materials that I purchased were in Lowell's hardware store, with the exception of the wheels and the locking pins. Alright, let's go and do it. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to measure for the crossbar and how to install the centerpieces. So when you do the centerpiece, these are actually rail mounts and they're rough on the inside. So what you need to do is you need to take a file that's rounded and go in and take off these edges. So on all the fittings that you do, you're going to have to do that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the placement. Where do I want to put these? So what I'm looking at this area right here. And you see this area right here has a little flat part. So the seat comes up to here. So what I found is I put my hand underneath and I found that there's a nice and even space here in between. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount them on both sides, here and here. So this is actually going to look like this. And what I did is I measured 1 inch on this side space, and I left extra 4 inches on the other side because the other side has the paddle. And my total length ended up being 40 inches, so that's on a 106 PDL, so 106. And like I said, I'm going to mount them here. So instead of using washers on the other side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a 1/4 inch piece of aluminum and basically put that underneath. I'm going to put thread on it, but if you don't have a threader, you can just use bolts or self-locking bolts. And obviously you're going to put some rubber stuff in between. And the way I did this is I just put it on here, and then I marked it with a marker where the holes are in the end. So I'm going to make 2 of these pieces, and I'm using a pretty thick 1/4 inch bolt here because I don't want any space in between so it doesn't wiggle. And then obviously I'm going to sandwich this with some type of a sealant, like window sealer or something that's silicone. So I'll put that underneath on the plate, and then I'll put some on top here as well. So when I sandwich it, it'll be waterproof. So that's the next step. So now what I'm going to do is make these 2, and then I'll come in here and I'll drill holes in the kayak here on both sides, and we'll pick it up from there. I decided to use bolts and make a thread. Because it's underneath in the kayak and I don't want to take a chance on the bolts falling off. So now I'm just going to enlarge the size, and then we're going to make thread. So now I'm just making the hole a little bit bigger. Okay, and now to tap it, you put a little bit of WD-40 on it. And normally what I do is I put it in the vise. And put the threads on. Just take your time. Don't strip them. Go forward slow. Then back up a little bit forward. If you can make a full turn, you can feel when you get tension, back up a little bit. Okay, this is fairly thin, so you should go through fine. And if you need to, add a little bit of oil, but this is doing pretty good, so I'm not going to put any oil in. Back up. Okay, we are through. Take it out. And now you can test it. And it's perfect. So now I'm going to do the rest of them, cut these two pieces, file the edges so there's no edges on it, and we're ready for installation. We made these that are going under, and we tapped them, and now we're going to get the right distance, and what you want to do is you want to put the pole through and then line them up to where it's fairly straight. I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly right on, but you know, as long as each side is about the same. So now what I'm going to do is just mark the holes, and I want to drill these holes exactly the same size of the screw. So I'm just going to mark these exactly where I'm going to pop my hole on this side and right here. Okay, so now we move this off to the side, and we're going to drill our holes. And you want to go as straight as possible. And the other side. Okay, we are ready for installation. Okay, back to the drawing board. So I made a couple of tests to see how the wheels handle the weight and the structure, and I noticed that I was getting a little bit of buckling in this area over here because the kayak is supported from underneath. So this was popping up a little bit, and I can tell that in time it'll probably flexing is going to wear out this section. So what I did is I made a pattern, and this pattern fits right over the holes here. So my plan is to make 4 of these, 2 on each side, and bring and get a little more support from underneath. So it's really the underneath that counts, because the kayak is carrying the weight from underneath. So this fits exactly this shape here. And what I did is I picked up just a cutting board that I'm going to be using. So I'll cut out 4 of these. I'll cut out 4 of those. I'll draw them out and cut them out and drill the holes, and then give it a little more support so that the wheels can carry the weight of the kayak. And obviously, when you're parking or when you're storing the kayak, you don't want to leave them sitting on the landing gear. you want to smooth out any hard edges. Okay, next step is to drill the holes. Now we have the bottom and the top, and then our piece that we screw into. So now what you do is you take your aluminum piece that has thread on it and the bottom piece that goes under, and you tape it so you don't have to guess where the holes are. And this can stay, this doesn't have to be removed later. Okay, so now basically you go through, under, hold it, and then you get your screw ready. Then you get the top plate. I put a little lock washer on it. Make sure this is pointing out. Okay, that's one. Good here. Now we go to the other side. Once I get everything going, then I'm going to go back, unscrew them, and then put a little silicone in between where the holes are. Now we put the washer back on here. Take the wheel, slide it on. Take a second washer that we made, put it on. Okay, that's good. There's a little bit of play, so that's what it looks like right now. So actually, these go on the opposite way. Okay, so they actually go the opposite way. This one faces this way, and then this one faces this way, because I want my wheels to be on the outside. What I did here is I put the kayak on buckets. 2 buckets in the back, 2 buckets in the front. Okay, then I put the left side on, and the wheels are hanging. So this is loose. The wheels are hanging off the ground about a half an inch on both sides. This way I can get a nice and straight vertical, and I used the level, and then I just tighten it down slightly over here, because I want to make a mark where I want to drill the permanent holes. So this gives me an idea that everything is in sync and symmetry, and I might bring the whole thing over a little bit closer to the kayak. So I might cut this part off, because here I have good 3 inches or 2.5 inches, and on this side I have a little bit too much. There's probably about 5 or 4 inches here. So what I want to do is I want to bring this in just out here on the outside. So I'm going to cut this pipe here to make it just enough so that the paddle, it'll pass the paddle here. So I can slip the paddle in behind it. Even though that this will be up in the up position, I still want to have that room that allows me to slip the paddle underneath and slide the paddle out easily. And this way it'll be sturdier, because then both of the wheels will be closer to the kayak, so they're not so far away. At this point, both of the wheels are still hanging vertically, and now I've tightened down the screws on all of these just temporarily still. So now I can mark my spots where I want to drill the permanent mounts, or the permanent screw that's going to hold everything in place. Because if you just leave these by themselves, under torque they will twist out, even though they're tapped. They're not tapped, but even though they're very strong, they still will slip under torque. So the next step is to mark it out, drill the holes, and pop in screws right through here to make it permanent. Now I'm going to have this one rotate, so when I bring it up to the kayak here, I want to be able to turn my wheels and lay them down on the side, so the pressure of the undercarriage is carried by the kayak while I'm fishing or while I'm transporting. So this way I can just pull this down and bring up the whole assembly. It just comes up. The whole assembly comes up, and then I want to be able to rotate the wheels and put them on there. Then you can flip them over. I can just pull the pin, flip them over. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm going to I'm going to drill and tap the permanent holder screws, which I'm using 1024 stainless steel. So 1024. So I need to drill a hole. I need a bit that's exactly for tapping 1024 and a tap. Okay, so I'm going to drill a hole with this one, which is small, then tap it, and then put the screw in. And for the locking ones, I bought a stainless steel, which is a safety, basically a safety pin. It just slides on top. So these, I use 2 of them to lock down the top portion. Once I put the gear up, I can just pop this into the 2 holes, 2 of these, and it'll keep it up. And when I want to use the landing gear, I would pull down, take these out, put the gear down, and then put these in place, and it'll keep them vertical. These are about $8, stainless steel, McMaster. You can order them, and they just slip on. That's it. So basically, this is what we have when we're on the water. We put this up and secure it with one pin here. Okay, I drilled 2 holes because this one is for when the gear is down, towing. So when you're down, this hole, when the gear is up, whether you're towing it in the truck or when you're in the water, you put in that pin, and the wheels are actually sitting on the kayak. They're resting, so there isn't any pressure anywhere on the pole in the middle. But this basically allows you to turn the wheels in with just a pull of a pin, and you rotate it, put the wheels on the kayak, put the pin back in. Same thing on the other side. It takes only seconds. And where you can actually set it up so that your wheels could be on the outside or underneath the kayak. It's the same holes. You just got to drill really precise holes. I was using a hand drill, so that's why I had to drill 2 holes, because my other side of the hole didn't match. But it's ideal. You can be in the water. You pull the 2 pins out. This pin, you only actually need 1 pin, but I did 2. You pull the pins out, okay, and then you use the lever. You turn the wheel, and pop this one in so the wheels are on the outside. Same thing on the other side, and then you can just lower it into the water and put the pins back in, and you're ready to go. Pull it out, get to the truck, put the front of the canoe on the truck bed, slide it in so the weight is off the wheels, and then you pull the pin out, put the wheels back in this position. Very safe, easy towing, safe for towing. I would put a bungee across here and tie it to the truck. It's not going anywhere, but just so it doesn't bounce, there's a little bit of a bounce. So you don't want these to be bouncing up and down. So one strap going across to there and to the truck or underneath the kayak, and you're ready to go. Simple. Pull the pin out. Rotate out, pull over here. Release the pin. Stay down. Put your pin in. Lock it. Put the other pin in. Lock it. Take one. Take two. Pick up the kayak and roll it. There you go, finished. So you can see what I did here. So in addition to what you saw before, I added a couple of stoppers. Okay, now these really help to line up the holes, and I'm going to put one on the bottom here. Okay, down here, so this way it doesn't allow it to shift back and forth. And I'll do the same to the other side. I actually have to make the other shaft a little bit longer because when I turn the wheels on the inside underneath the kayak, it's actually touching the kayak, so I want clearance of about maybe 3 inches. So this distance is going to be a little bit longer. So I have one on this side, one on the other side. So you're going to need 4 of these, or actually 2, 4, 6, not counting, or 2, 4, not counting the 2 in the middle, which I didn't even talk about, but basically you need 2 of those on the inside. Because it keeps the shaft in place. So those are screwed down permanently. And the 2 in the middle are the same. And these are nice because they have a hole in them too. And you can put your strap on or bungee right across it. And the other thing is that you want to drill another hole through this and put a screw through it to make it permanent, so it's not temporary. Well, that's about it. If you like this video, please share it. I would appreciate it very much. And enjoy your trips fishing, enjoy life, stay happy, and stay safe. Thank you very much.